blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
All right, welcome back to Moments with Myra, where authenticity lives, stories unfold, and purpose meets passion. Today's guest, I'm super excited about. He is a creative, embodied genius. He is a proud Black gay entrepreneur, a visionary behind DScents Candles, a singer who moves hearts, and a clothing designer. Yes, and he does design clothes as well, although he's taking a little hiatus, expressing identity through fashion. He's not just building brands, he is the brand. He is visibility. He is not just creating products, he is creating space. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. DeAngelo Milner. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Of course, that opening, woo, Jesus. Okay. You poured that out and I needed that today. It's been a very heavy emotional day, but thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Well, absolutely. And just know that everything that I said, I mean, I'm really, really big on giving flowers lately because we're all faking it till we make it some days. And so any opportunity that I have to give people that are close to me, my friends, associates, flowers, I like to do that. So before we get into our conversation, guys, I want to let you know that he is an amazing designer now. He's not designing now, so let me put that out there. So don't try to hit him up for no outfits or
Okay.
nothing yet. But I want to let you know that he is an amazing designer. You make a plus size girl feel bad as hell. Like, he did my dress for my cousin's wedding, and I was not getting ready to give no off the shoulder. I was like, not with these big arms, I'm not doing it. And he was like, yes, you are. And I was like, no, I'm not. But y'all, my dress fit to a T. I strutted. I felt good. I felt beautiful. I felt seen. And I just wanted to give you those flowers and tell you thank you, because if it had not been for you, I wouldn't have stepped outside of my comfort zone. And I really, really appreciate that.
Ain't nobody tell me I was gonna need tissue today.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that you knew, because I know we talk to each other off and on, but since the wedding, we hadn't really had a chance to like sit down and really, really like get into it, because you've had all your things going on and, new marriage and just everything. And so I've had my stuff going on. So I said, while we're sharing space today, I'm going to make sure to tell my brother everything that I love and appreciate about him. So that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to give you your flowers and just know that you're appreciated. And as soon as you get back into the flow and feeling of designing again, I need another outfit. So record show, I'm saying this so everybody see, on March the 9th, this is the day that we're recording, I'm going to need me another DeAngelo so that I can, strut my stuff a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got you. And thank you. And it's because it means so much to hear words like that, especially as you grow in entrepreneurship, as you grow in business. Sometimes you need those reminders of your why. And when I was doing fashion, my whole purpose of fashion was to make people who didn't feel seen know that they are seen. It was to make people who felt like they couldn't be beautiful or that they couldn't wear certain things. It was just my purpose to make every individual that I put a garment on feel seen, feel beautiful, feel loved. And thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Because everything that I do is purpose driven. Even when it comes to my candles, it's purpose driven.
And that's what I was going to say, honey. Everything that you just said was exactly how I felt. Like when I was strutting down the aisle, we had to do our little dance or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, that I was no size 24. You couldn't tell me I wasn't a 10, 12 like everybody else.
Okay.
So,
Because that's how it should be. I don't think people should be put into categories based upon size, based upon shape. Like nobody should feel like they aren't beautiful. Everybody deserves to feel beautiful. And I tell people, even for me, like I have to tell myself a lot of times because I struggled with my weight for so long, and then I started losing weight. But even as I lost the weight, I could not get past seeing the person who used to be 353 pounds.
yes.
I couldn't unsee him. And when I was small, and I feel like honestly, that's part of the reason why I gained the weight back. Because people have to understand too, when you go through a transformation, that's a journey. That's a faith walk. That's a Jesus walk. That's a God walk. And how dare we ask God to continue to bless us to be able to get healthy, but we never sit in the place of thankfulness for the journey that He's taken us on. And I feel like I never sat in being grateful for getting down to 250 pounds because I constantly wanted more. It was never enough. I never felt like I looked good enough when God was trying to tell me, you are enough as you are. So every day I wake up and I let myself know that I am wonderfully and beautifully made. I am perfect just as I am right now. And that's the reason why the candle flawless exists, because we are flawless regardless of weight, size, gender, whatever your occupation is, your monetary status. I don't care. You're flawless just as you are. And once you realize that, then you're able to allow the universe to bless you to be exactly where you want to be. Because sometimes in the moments, you're exactly where you need to be. And you can want more, but until you can understand who you are in that moment, where you need to be, you can't go any further.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I understand that so well because I've lost over 100 pounds myself. And it's hard.
It is.
Think, girl, you look good and blah, blah, blah. But you don't realize it's a battle because when you look in that mirror, you still see the old you. And so while I'm thankful, my parents always poured into me. So I never had a self-confidence issue, really. Some people can kind of bring it out in you, but
Mhm.
I always kind of held my head up high. And, I said, if the only thing you can say that I'm overweight, you can't say that I'm not dressed right. You can't say I ain't cute. So
That part.
I don't know,
That part.
And so that's always been my attitude. And then I appreciate what you said about sitting in your thankfulness because it was a journey losing those 100 pounds. And I still want to lose like about 80 more, but
You
it's
will.
to get back on track. So I think that I do need to spend more time in meditation and stuff and thankfulness and not just assume that, well, I was walking and I was eating right, so I did it. When I know that it was God along with me that kept me to where I am. And also too, between us and whoever else is listening, God know not to let me get too small. I'm just gonna leave it there because I'll tell you off camera what I would be doing. So I think God is like, with this one, I got to be a little bit strategic with this one.
I honestly feel like that might have been the reason for me too, but I really had to change. It's also a thing of me changing my mindset and realizing that, am I going to say this? Yes, I am. Realizing that, a lot of people that take that journey, right? And then they lose the weight. And then it's like, we start to act out a whole lot. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it acting out.
Yes.
It really isn't justifiable in a sense, right? We don't have to act out because we've been living our life. We've been living our life. So what needs to change because now you're a smaller version of yourself?
And you're right.
Yeah.
And you're right. Because see, for me, I just know, and even though I'm older now, I'm 56 years old, but honey, at a certain weight.
She finna cut up. She finna
I
cut up.
still hear it now coming to the stage. I'm not gonna even lie.
I ain't mad at it. But you know what though? That's a thing that I feel like if that's a lived experience that you want, then you deserve that lived experience. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't hold nobody back from nothing. Because if that's the lived experience that you want, you should wholeheartedly go for it. And if you tell me, I'd be like, Myra, girl, I'm coming. Get it, girl. Get it. Get it.
Oh, look, I know you're gonna be there because I'm gonna be reaching out to you talking about I know you on hiatus, however, come.
I need an outfit.
I need to be a fit, a fit.
Yeah. I mean, because when I did lose weight that first time, I ain't gonna hold you. Baby, the clothes was clothing.
Yes.
They were clothing, but I think it's also a thing that when you lose weight and you're able to go to the store and just pick something up off the shelf, off the rack, that hit a little different because sometimes them clothes on the racks are so cute. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing for me as a designer. I tried to hold on, sorry. I tried to make sure that I was doing clothes that stood out for the plus size and big and tall because there was nobody doing that.
Yeah. And that
There
was
was nobody doing that. Did my phone mess up?
It's just turned sideways.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, I had to get that. Go ahead. My bad.
That's okay. But that was one of the things that I really, really appreciated about you when I found out who was going to be making our dresses. And I kind of looked because, when you plus size, the first thing you're doing is you're looking at the designer, you're looking at like coming because you got to make sure that it's going to be somebody that's going to be able to work with what you bring it to the table. And so when I saw your dresses and everything, I was like, oh, I ain't worried. I knew I was in good hands.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I had to give you your flowers because I felt so beautiful. And while I was not going to take anything away from my cousin and her beautiful outfit that you made for her, but I did have to acknowledge that if she wasn't my cousin, I would have cut up a little bit more than I did.
Understand.
So now, before the business and before the artistry, who is DeAngelo at his core?
At my core, who is DeAngelo? DeAngelo at my core. I am a husband. I am a father. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I am a person who has been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And I have overcome that. I'm a person who respects community and honors community. I'm a lover, sometimes a fighter. But I also just love being a person of value to people.
Yeah.
Outside of anything. I think that's the thing that brings me joy the most is kind of like facilitating or networking people with things that they need. Because I've realized that my life isn't about me. It is about me, but it's not about me. My life is not my own. I'll put it that way. My life is not my own. And so as I've continued to like grow and become, I've learned to weed out the noise and just know that, as Nicole Walters has said, in your day, there's going to be bad things, there's going to be good things, but in the grand scheme of things, nothing is missing. So I live in the philosophy that nothing is ever missing. I can have bad things happen, but what was the lesson that I needed to learn from that? And I can have good things happen, and I can say, okay, I had the endorphins, this feels good, or the dopamine, and it feels good. But what do I do to continue? This was just a moment. So that's me at my core.
And the beautiful thing about that is you pull that out of people. Like I have to go back again to when we were doing our fittings and stuff. And some of the girls were, like kind of shy, whatever. And like you pull it out. You're like, no, you better work. Look at that body.
Yeah.
You just made us feel so good in that moment with even simply just getting our measurements. So you do that. And I just wanted to say that out loud because to some people, when you have businesses and you do things, people to think that, oh, that's he just doing that because he's trying to sell some candles. Or, oh, he just doing that because he's trying to. This is who he really is. Honestly, who he really is. And I know this day and time, it's hard to find people that are walking in their truth, living their truth, and being who they really are authentically. But this is really, really who he is. And that's why this is such a beautiful conversation for me to have. Now, your journey as a gay Black man, how has it shaped your confidence and creativity?
Ooh, it really has shaped my confidence and creativity a whole lot. And I just want to clarify something, okay? So I know that people are very, I'm trying to find the word. I'm going to say that some people are simple in their thinking, right? They see 1+1 and it has to equal 2. So I call myself the gay Black entrepreneur because one, I take ownership of what people used to say about me growing up, the thing that I felt was negative. Also, being Black, a lot of times it felt like it was a negative connotation for me growing up. But I'm very much a person who, because I feel like I want to clear some things up, and I said I was going to make sure that I did it in my time. So I've been married to a woman, I've been married to a man. And it's not that I choose one over the other. I choose who respects me, who loves me, who honors me, who will stand beside me on the side of right and the side of wrong. I stand for, I want to be with, I'm always going to be with someone who's going to love me when I'm wrong, and they're going to love me when I'm right, but they're going to also correct me, but not father me or mother me. Because I have a mother and I have a father. I want somebody who's going to be my partner, who's going to always push me to be better, who is going to always believe in my dreams the same amount that I believe in my dreams or more. And they're going to also honor me just as a person. They're going to respect me. So just to clear the air, yes, I am the gay Black entrepreneur, but I put that out there because I'm currently married to a man and people don't know how to break that down.
Gotcha.
So I want to put that out there, because that's the first time I've ever said that. But it's been a long journey for me, and I've gone through a lot of ups and downs. And becoming who I am, it's just been a road. It has been a road, and I've learned to not look back. But to answer your question, um, being Black and gay, it is a beautiful thing because you honestly, we're cultural phenomenons.
We really are.
You know what I'm saying?
Tom.
And so and this is the thing that I thank my parents for one, like my dad used to always push humility in me, right? And so for the longest time, I didn't know that I was handsome. Okay. I never thought that I was handsome. I just thought that I was just somebody just regular off the street. Okay, is what is, right? But being gay, being Black, being handsome it has its perks, right? And it has allowed me to form relationships with people that I never thought that I would form relationships with. Being that I left North Carolina and went to New York, New York taught me a lot about myself. It taught me how to live authentically as a gay man. Something that I probably would not have gotten here in North Carolina or in the city. I'll say in the city that I reside in North Carolina. And so it shaped me and it molded me to see that fashion doesn't have an identity. It molded me to know that scent doesn't have an identity. It molded me to know that I don't have to carry an identity that I don't ever want to conform to. So it has allowed me to open my eyes up and literally become more of a visionary and more of a free spirit when it comes to living life. There are not a lot of things that faze me anymore in life because I realize that we're just spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yes.
And so I just live life. I just go each day saying, okay, God, well, what we gonna do today? I've learned how to not be anxious anymore by saying, okay, well, what are we gonna do today? I'm not focused on yesterday. I'm not focused on tomorrow. I'm focused on today.
Yes. And I think it's so important for you to be able, all of us really, to be just fluid in life, because
Yeah.
so many of us are dealing with anxiety and all of these things that's brought on from us not being ourselves, for trying
Mhm.
to keep up with the Joneses, for trying to
Mhm.
be perfect, whatever that
Yes.
looks like to whomever. And life is short. We got more
Pretty
to do
short.
behind us than we do ahead of us. And with
Mhm.
everything that's going on with the world, honey, I don't have time to be worried about
No
who's got
time.
why
No time.
at all. At
No.
all.
And I
So
don't care who they are. No time.
now tell us a little bit about how DScents Candles began.
Okay, so DScents actually formed in 2021. And I remember I was going down the road. I was driving down Friendly Avenue to be exact. And I have these moments. Let me just put it this way. I hear from God. Okay. We literally have conversations. And I remember him saying, start a candle company. And I remember going down the road, like literally writing out the candle company's name, writing out the what the candle business would stand for, writing out the scents that I wanted. So if anybody has been following DScents since 2021, you understand that DScents was a brand for the gay community. It was my homage to say F you to anybody who had anything to say about my life, how I lived, all the things. But in also saying that I want to educate you because I'm tired of walking into rooms, whether it be family, friends, whoever, that want to whisper to the side, but
Yes.
don't want to have the full conversation with me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk about me to groups of people. Come and talk about me to me because I am the person who can tell you my story, what I'm going through, who I am, and I can help you understand because that group of people that you're talking to, they have the same mindset as you, which is very limited, very bleak, very stereotypical, and I don't have time. So, top, bottom, verse, and trade were the names of the candles that DScents had in the very beginning.
Okay.
And I wanted to explain to people all the vibes that a gay man could have in the bedroom as to who they are when it relates to them outside in the streets, because that's a title. You know, people put that stereotype on gay men all the time. So you want to know about it? Let's talk about it. And then after that, that's when I originally had someone else making my candles. I went and created the scent profiles. They created the candles and made them and did all the things. I would pick them up, label them, and sell them. After a while, it was just kind of like my friend told me, she was like, I think you should make your own candles because I like these candles. They smell good when I smell them like this. But when I light them, they don't do how other candles would do. And I'm trying to explain to people these are soy candles, blah, 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 da, 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 da.
I
And so they didn't, it still wasn't hitting. So my sales started to go down because I saw that my customers were not believing in the integrity of the business. So I did a pivot. I started making my candles on my own. So I think that happened in 2022, 2023. And I started making my candles on my own with very limited money. So this is for anybody who want to say that it takes a lot of money to get into a business. No, it does not. It takes scalability. It takes knowing what you want to do. You have to niche it down. You can have one, two, three products, but you have to start somewhere. Your dream can be big, but your reality can be, this is the only thing that I can do right now. And that's how you don't have a dream deferred. You go ahead and start with what you have. So I started it out, and I remember I may have had only, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 different fragrance oils. And then somebody gave me some more. I'll never forget. It was just like, they were like, here, you can just have these. And so I started my line. And it was Hot Boy, Zaddy, Relax B, Bucci Cat, and those were the four. Those were the four. I started out with those four. And I just grew my signature scents to be the 8 that they are now.
love that story because, first of all, you started off with being obedient. Because how many people out there have had that same idea, maybe not
Mhm.
to start, a candle line, but for a business,
Mhm.
was thinking about all the reasons why they couldn't.
Mhm.
My whole thing is when God's spirit gives you something like that, literally drops it in your lap, we've got to
Mhm.
be obedient. If
Mhm.
it takes 2 years, 3 years, 20 years. You
Mm-hmm.
still got to be obedient because he gave it to you for a reason. So
Absolutely.
I really love that. So now, in your opinion, out of all of your scents, what scent represents you?
And it's crazy. Everybody asks me that, and I will be honest with you, every single one of them. And I will say, and this is the reason why. So, breathe is a candle for relaxation. Breathe is my journey as wanting to create like a black spa scent. I wanted something that smelled like you went into the most luxurious spa, but it was owned by a black person. That's
Mhm.
breathe. Command is everything that I would put on my body. Because when I walk into a room, the scent, the aroma, I usually command the room because people are trying to figure out what does he have on,
Mhm.
clothes wise and scent wise. And it's just like I command the room. Flawless, again, I explained that one because I had to tell myself every day that I wake up and I'm flawless. And so as I'm sitting here, I build out the scent first, and the name is already there. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I'm building out. It's art for me. So flawless. Then you have mending heart. Mending heart was my ode to myself when I felt like it was hard for me to split from fashion. That was a hard thing for me to do.
I can.
It was a 2 or 3 year battle of me hearing God say, put it down. And I just kept doing and kept doing and kept doing and kept doing. But mending heart, it has a heart, and you'll see the stitches in the heart because I have to remind myself that yes, I am on my healing journey, but I don't think that anybody's heart is ever complete, if that makes sense.
It
There's
does.
always going to be some little nick. And so it's like I understand I have to keep going, whether it's whole or not. And then you have unconditional, which is my scent that I created after me and my husband got engaged. There were so many people who had something to say, and a lot of people changed how they looked at us and how they spoke to us. And my thing is, it's very interesting to me who how people who say they love God, they love Jesus, they do all the things will literally turn their backs on the people that love them the most, that never did anything to them, but honestly just decided that they were going to live their life. So because I decided that I want to live my life in a certain way, you don't want to love on me anymore. That means that you put a condition on love. That
Yeah.
means that you don't understand agape. That means that you don't understand the Jesus walk. You
Yeah.
don't do any of that. You're more religious than anything. And religion is something that we don't stand for. You have to be a spiritual being to understand that the Bible is not really a book to chastise you, it's a book of instruction.
Yep.
And everything is per interpretation. And
Absolutely.
some of y'all get the interpretation wrong because you want to stop at one sentence and you don't want to dig a little deeper into the scripture because then it might step on your foot.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it all boils down to, honey. Them worrying about it stepping on their foot.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing too that I've noticed, and some might not agree with this, but just kind of something that I kind because you're out here living your best life, free, happy, and all of that, and they're stuck in the closet. They might not be stuck in the closet for loving the same sex or something,
Mm-hmm.
but they're stuck in the closet because they're so worried about what them church folk gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
They not living
Mm-hmm.
their best lives. And then here
Yep.
we are here. I'm out here, pulling cars and being
Okay.
free and doing everything.
Okay. And guess what? God still love me and still give me all the tools and knowledge and everything that I need. And I'm over here living my best life.
Yes.
Because I told him, I said, you know what? You give it to me. I'm going to always pour into my community. I'm going to always love on people because I don't care what you have going on in your life. You could be a murderer, but guess what? We could always sit down and we can have a conversation. I can get to know who you are because I don't know why you murdered that person. I don't know what your internal struggles are, but that's also not for me to judge you. I'm not God. I can't put you in heaven or hell. So I feel like the moment that people realize that you don't have a heaven or hell to put anybody in, and that you honestly should just mind the business that you are living in, we would have a better world. We would. People would see that it is okay. Let people live in their world. Let people be.
Mhm.
As long as you mind your business, do that.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Now, do you feel like being a gay Black man has affected you as a business owner in any way?
No, not at all. I feel like maybe some people might be like, "Oh, I'm not going to go support him," but
Mhm.
I really never really have experienced that. More people come in and they're like, I don't know if it's my personality. I don't know what it is. But people really do just come in and they love on me. I have black, white, I have male, female. I have all types of people who come through that door and just be like, "Oh my God, I love this." But I also know, like with business, everything has to have a story. You know, I
Yeah.
learned to be a storyteller. I
Mhm.
learned to I learned how to convey my emotion in the proper way
Mhm.
to help people understand what my brand is. And I feel like once people learn how to do that, if you're in business, whether you're an influencer, whether you're an entrepreneur who's starting a new business, it's all about the brand story and how relatable is it to your people and
Yes.
understanding who your people are. So, and the beautiful thing about me is my people are women 24 to 35. And so they really rock with me and I love them.
Now we got to give credit to over 35 now. 'Cause
Yes, we do. We
too,
do. And
we were,
those are my two age categories that really do rock with me.
yeah,
I'm gonna say the majority, like honestly, like when I look at my numbers and my configurations, about 56% of that 24 to 35, and then right up under them is 36 to like 40, whatever that next range is, literally right up in there. So
because we
I
love
have
a good candle, honey.
Yes, and I love it because those are the people who are more settled in life. And
Yes,
even if they're not settled in life, the people who are 25 years old now, these kids know what they want. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And I'm not calling them kids, but they know what they want. They stand on business, they have good jobs, and they're ready to come and do the things that make them happy because my brand is all about loving on yourself. If you spending $18 on a candle or you spending $16 on a room spray or $35 for the wood wick, you're coming in for self-care. You know what luxury is and you appreciate it. So
exactly.
thank
Now,
you to those that support these things. I love y'all.
now we're going to pivot a little bit. I
Okay.
want to talk about you finding your voice in singing. So, when did you discover your voice as a singer?
It's crazy. I was like 2 or 3 years old. And I remember my cousin Vanessa. I was at church and I was singing in the pew behind her. And she said, "That boy can sing. You need to put him on that choir." And my mama was like, "He is too young to be in the choir. I'm not putting that boy in no choir. No. Mm-mm." And then it kind of sparked something in me. And I was like, "Mama, I want to be in the choir." Me at 3 years old wanting to be in the choir was
Mhm.
crazy. But, my mama said, "Okay." And so I remember going to choir rehearsal, sitting up there, and I've always been a person who has taken whatever it is that I do, I take it serious. I don't know where that came from. I don't. I have just always taken it serious. This is not a joke. We're here to sing. I'm not here to play. So I literally started singing in the choir, and I think one of my other aunts, Aunt Geraldine, she has a video of me when I was maybe like 4 or 5, leading my first song in the choir, like in a choir anniversary at that. It
Oh,
wasn't just like regular stuff; it was the choir anniversary. Back in the day, the choir anniversary was
that,
popping.
that's a big deal in Black
Yes, and I
now.
think it was what was that song? Oh my God, it wasn't "One He Make You Clean." Oh my God, what was that first song I led? It wasn't He's Able. He's Able was later. I can't think of it right now. But yeah, I literally was on the choir singing. And so from there, elementary school, it made me mad because like in chorus, all we were doing was playing with like sand blocks and stuff like that. And then I think third grade, we started doing more music, but it really kicked off for me in sixth grade with Vicky Sladen and auditioning. I auditioned for band and chorus because we had to choose one. In rock and Eden, you could only do one. You couldn't do band and chorus. You could do one or the other. And so I had gotten selected for both because I played drums too. So people don't know that I played drums for a while as a kid. And so I got selected for percussion, but I also got selected for choir, and I chose choir. And Vicky Sladen, kudos to her. She literally was one of, I have two music teachers that I'm grateful for, Vicky Slayton and Sharon Barnett. I can't give it all to just Vicky. I can't give it all to just Miss Barnett because they both played a pivotal role in helping me find my voice, and teaching me the tools that I needed to be successful when it came down to choir. As a Black man in choir, it was a different experience because you don't see a lot of us in that sector in school. And so I was classically trained. I knew how to read music. I went to all county festivals, all state festivals. I've been to Mars Hill festivals, like all of these prestigious things that you have to audition for. I was a young Black man who got into those rooms. And so my teachers in those areas taught me how to show up and how to be professional, how to wear a tuxedo and a bow tie. And you show up prim and proper. You go in here and you show these people what you have and you leave the room. And that's what I did. So they literally taught me all of these things and I appreciate them. And I don't know that they know that they've done that much for me. But like even with Miss Barnett, like she taught us. I remember I wanted to be in show choir so bad because I always wanted to dance. And growing up, you know, being a dancer as a Black man, that was not a thing. Like that is too gay, that is too out there, that is a feminine thing. And so I don't blame my mom for being like, no, you can't do that because she didn't know any different, you know. I think in hindsight, she probably looks at it now. It's probably like, I wish I would have put you in dance. I wish I would have put you in this because I was very talented. But Miss Barnett, she literally would do, we used to do Broadway type of productions for spring production. And I looked forward to spring production every year because I knew that we were going to dance, we were going to sing, and we were going to do the thing. It was going to be a production from start to finish. And so that put a work ethic in me that I don't think she understands that I still hold now. Anybody that comes to a rehearsal and if it's for music and we're dancing and we're this, no, we're laser focused. Like I have a Beyonce mentality. We're going to get it done and it has to be perfect.
I love that. So with your music and all of your training, which genre of music is your favorite?
If I could be honest, it would be more of like the worship type music, sort of kind of like Maverick City music.
Yes.
Again, you know, I love R&B. I also love rap. I'm a huge Megan Thee Stallion fan. But I think it would be more like a Maverick City music. If I had it my way and people were a little bit more open to somebody being openly gay and singing that type of music and like being able to receive it in the right way, that would be my lane that I would go in.
Yeah. I think that would be a good lane. And I think slowly but surely that we're going to head more in that direction because I think that people are now starting to have the attitude where finally they see what you do is what you do. Come sing this song, man. I mean, I don't care about the rest of that stuff. Come present this message, sing this song. And I think that people need to realize is that being open is so important, whether your business, no matter what it is that you're doing, because somebody out there needs what you have to offer.
Exactly. And I don't want to miss the opportunity.
Don't want to
I
miss a
don't. I
thing.
don't want to miss the opportunity. I don't want to miss a thing in life because I decided to put up a wall because of how someone presented themselves or how someone looked. I will talk to a bum on the street. I don't care.
Me
I
too.
will speak. Just don't ask me for the money. But let me not even go there. I probably would give them money, but don't let that be the first thing you ask me. Like, let's talk a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Part. That
Yeah, I don't, yeah. But I just don't turn anybody away. And, somebody had a conversation with me the other day because I had ran for Pride King. And it really touched my heart because I came into like the king and queen system very late in life. Like I was 34, 35. No, I was 36 when I got the crown, right?
mm-hmm.
And so people, he said, I looked at you when you walked in, and he was like, I'm like, who is this man in here with all this butt? And then he got this pretty face, like he probably gonna be arrogant. And I just walked up and I was myself, and he was like, it really changed my perspective on you. He was like, oh, he's sweet, he's probably not gonna win, but he's sweet, right? And then he was like, then you got up there and you did your presentation and you did that to Fantasia and you had that outfit on and you ate that up, and then you did your on-stage question, and I was like, oh wow, and he can talk. And then you came out in that all white and saying Tony Braxton, and it took me back to like Tony Braxton doing it on the BET Awards. And he was like, I think I found the person that I know is going to win this pageant. And he said it made me literally just like respect you for as a person. He said, because a lot of times people walk into rooms and they could be attractive people and they can have a nice body and they have the worst attitude. And I
Yes.
think it's sad, because I got snubbed the other day in the club by somebody who thought they were cute. Their outfit was cute, but they weren't cute.
And I have to say that white outfit, because I saw the pictures, was everything.
Thank you.
Everything. So
Thank
now that's a good pivot for us to talk just a little bit about fashion and creativity.
Okay.
So now what inspired you to step into clothing design?
So, Balenciaga, get down. Sorry, my dog. But this is another moment of listening to God. It was right around the time when I had decided that I was going to leave my marriage, my first one. And it was just very tumultuous because out of that marriage, I have a daughter. And at the time, my daughter had to be about a year old. And we were going through a lot of child custody and divorce court and all the things. And I've always been a good guy. I'm a guy who's never been in the principal's office. I've never had ISS. I might have had detention, but not ISS, so I've always been on the straight and narrow. And
Yeah.
so there were a lot of stories that were put out there about me, and it became so heavy because I didn't know how to navigate somebody putting out false narratives about me that I really intended not to harm. I really intended to give you my best. And I felt like I gave people my best, especially these people. I felt like I gave them my best. And so people were leaving and I got very depressed. I was suicidal. And I remember wanting to take my life. And I asked God, I said, well, I don't feel like I belong here. I don't feel like anybody wants me here anymore. If I'm meant to be here, I need you to give me a purpose. And God told me to call my aunt and tell her that I wanted to sew her a preaching garment.
Mhm.
And so I called my aunt and I told her I wanted to sew her a preaching garment. Her first thing she said to me was, okay. She said, you know how to sew? I said, I don't, but God told me to do it. I sewed her dress in 3 days and it was a perfect fit. I had to do some alterations, but I sewed her dress in 3 days and nobody believed that I did that. I didn't even believe that I had done that. And so from that point on, that's when I started sewing. And I remember I just picked up different fabric that I could find that was cheap because I was really broke. I had just lost my job. Like I had my car had been repossessed. Like it was just so much going on in that moment, and nobody checked on me. Nobody knew, you know. And so I just started making. I started making, and it started to make me happy. And that's how fashion started for me.
But again, that I have to reiterate to the audience is he was obedient. That is the main thing, honey, with all of your stories and your creations of your businesses and stuff. It's because you've been obedient.
Absolutely.
And when you are obedient, no matter what it look like, you're gonna win.
I'm gonna win.
No matter what it looks like, you're gonna win.
Yeah. Because after that, let's see, I started just doing things. I was sewing dresses for people for $50, which is crazy. But I remember telling my now husband and my best friend, I said, listen, I need to put on a fashion show because people don't know that it's me doing this stuff. Everybody is looking at me like, oh my God, you're a singer, you're a singer. Who's making these clothes? And I'm like, it's me, it's me. And so and so I put on the fashion show. And this is how God works for the people that are listening. This is literally how God works. I told them I wanted to do the fashion show in November. This was in October. I think it was like maybe the top of October. November 11th was when I did the very first fashion show, the 11th or the 10th. Either way, November. We did 2 collections. And the collection's themes were transformation. So the finale pieces transformed. And the transformation was because I had lupus and I was like taking what I was going through and turning it into a transformative moment. So the lady's dress turned into like these bat wings that sort of resembled a butterfly, which is the symbol for lupus. And so I remember doing the show that night. She flipped the dress, the crowd went crazy. And I was just like, okay, we did it, we did it, we did it. The second dress goes down, the finale piece for the gowns. She spins around and the purple comes out. It was an all black gown and then it turned purple and they went crazy. And I was like, yes, we did it, we did it, we did it. Now I can go home and go to sleep because people now know that I am the one making the things, right? Well, I get a message at 10:30 after we've shut down everything. We'll go home, da 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 da. The lady says, I posted a video of your dress and it is going viral. And I'm like, viral? What is that? What is viral? Because this is 2016. Like nobody knew, there was no such thing as really like viral in my mind. Like I didn't know about that. So 10,000 views and like 2,000 likes before we went to bed. We woke up and that thing had like triple, doubled that. And 1 million views later, I'm getting calls from fashion weeks. I'm getting invitations from London Fashion Week. I'm getting invitations from Full Figure Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. And it was so much because I didn't know the industry, right? I'm in an industry, but I'm in an industry blind. And I'm also in an industry unhealed. So I'm in an unhealed version of myself, working in an industry that I know nothing about. I'm just producing. And so I end up doing a few of the fashion weeks, but honestly, I should have been a millionaire right now as we speak. Or years ago, I should have been a millionaire, and now I've got like multiple millions of dollars. But I didn't understand the industry. So people, it's very important that you research and you be prepared for the things that God is going to bring to you. I didn't know he was going to bring it, but I also didn't do my research to know how to run a fashion brand. I was just running a business. I was just creating. So it's okay to be a creative, but you got to also know how that business runs, the way you're supposed to put out the certain things. If you're doing fashion, when are you supposed to put out your collection and how do you mass produce it just in case somebody wants to buy it? Because I know for a fact I had over, it's going to sound crazy, but I had over 300 or 400 people to ask me for that one specific dress. And I was not prepared because the fabric that I bought was not a fabric that I could ever get again.
Mm, mm, mhm,
So
mhm.
preparation is a thing.
Be prepared.
Be prepared.
In your opinion, what kind of legacy do you feel that you're building for yourself and for future generations?
I feel like I'm building a legacy of strength, endurance, of a pivot, but of humility, but also not putting myself below anybody when I carry humility.
Yes.
I think humility is something that we've taught that means that you have to humble yourself um to be grateful of the things. But no, humility is entering in a room and not being haughty. You know your place, you know who you are, and I don't have to boast it for anybody. You see me, you see me. You know me, you know me. If you don't, come and get to know me. But I feel like I leave a legacy of strength and yeah.
And we have to say a legacy of strength and purpose.
And purpose. Sorry. How did
Yes.
I leave off
How
purpose? And
did you
that is my whole
know?
entire judge.
Look, I was
So
sitting here waiting. I was like, wait a
my
minute.
bad. Because listen, okay, I'm leaving a legacy of living life on purpose with purpose. And that's the honest to God truth.
Yes.
That is the honest to God truth. Because I say it at the end of every one of my videos. And that is literally the philosophy that I live by. If it doesn't have purpose, then it doesn't serve me. And so that's it. And then I feel like I also want to help people understand that no is a complete sentence and it's
Woo.
okay to say no.
Yes.
Because not everything, even if it's free or if it comes with a big price tag or payment, not everything is meant for your purpose. Some
Yes.
things are meant to throw you off your purpose
Mhm.
because guess what? Somebody could offer you $1 million to come and do X, Y, and Z. And you may accept that $1 million, but what that $1 million is going to do is tear you apart.
Yep.
It's going to take away your morals. It's going to take away your values. And so, what I would rather do is get slow money that I know was purposefully for me and
That
know that the people that God led to me in the moment are the things that got me to the big money.
that part. So now finish this sentence. I am most powerful when I what?
Breathe. When I breathe. And that's not to say like wake up in the morning and breathe. No, I'm my most powerful when I breathe. When I take a moment to really let my nervous system just regulate. Because I feel like a lot of times we wake up in the morning, and I'm learning to do this, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or because my mindset has changed or because now I understand how to make money. But in the mornings, I don't automatically grab my phone. I automatically wake up. Even if my eyes are closed, I say everything that I am grateful for. I start my morning off with gratitude and I start my morning off with breathing to regulate myself to know that today's moment is today's moment and whatever it brings, we're going to get through it.
That's right. Because
Got
we're living our life with purpose.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, DeAngelo. Thank you for reminding us that we are allowed to be multidimensional. We are allowed to be fragrance and fabric and melodies and movement, business and brilliance. Woo,
Yes.
we need to put that on a t-shirt.
Wow.
Your life is proof that identity is not something to hide. It is something to build from. I appreciate you so much for sharing space with me today and sharing a little bit of yourself with my audience. And also, too, letting people know that anything is possible when you're obedient.
Absolutely.
You know, anything is possible when you're obedient. So to everyone listening, supportive creatives, support Black entrepreneurs, support LGBTQ plus visionaries. When we uplift each other, we all shine brighter. This has been another powerful conversation on Moments with Myra. Until next time, protect your peace, honor your truth, and never dim your light. Have a great evening.
Answer that. Later, y'all.
Man, got a brother out here in Raleigh, man. Shout out to that brother Sky High Fresh. Y'all know what it is. Well, my mama called me Marty and my grandma called me son. I'm just a brother on the mic device, known to get it done. Hold it down like Reverend Run when he raising up his seeds. A brother got a heart full of love and free of greed. Get the work done through the Son, a chosen one. Through him we all begun, through him we all become. Some of all blessings through the words of all lessons. My mind is a weapon that I use with discretion, not for your impression. See, I dealt with my depressions through the scriptures of Yah. When you see me, you will see a better version Jamar. Just a man died for righteousness, no fear of no viruses. The blood of Christ on my life is truly what I'm writing with. Killing demons, interceding, Holy Spirit leading to positions that I'm leading when I'm feeding the flock. Just a servant out here working while I'm touching the block. Souls thirsty and they hungry, you gon' feed them or not? Or try to scram for the gram as you lie for the props? I can look in your eyes and see the soul of an eye. That mellow, yeah. I'm an educated son of the only true son. Elohim representing, it's only just begun. Linked up with my brothers, now we brighter than the sun in the solar system. Now my brother's spitting what he is, representing with my kids and my weirds on the earth. Every single second on this turf is home birth. I mean, home turf, homie, is a birth of blessing. Hope you rewind that so you can get the lesson.
See, my uncle called me Shiny and my mama called me son. I'm known for making beats and flipping rhythms on the drums. Mix the hi-hat with the snares, yeah, that's my native tongue. Then I mix that with the spirit of God and I become one of one. Excalibur, slicing up the ways of the evil one. Remember when we used to go to Eastland just to pick up something? Shooting my shot at any culture like I'm feeble, son. Not realizing the enemy had me feeble, son. In my mindset, mind gone. At that time, NETI song was my theme song. Rubber band, man. Yeah, that was my motivation. Top back on 24s, that was the correlation. Until God touched my soul and gave me separation. Yeah, in the word of God, I found my declarations. I started speaking that word, found my levitation. On anything that's negative, found my elevation.
I'm an educated son of the only true son. Elohim representing, it's only just begun. Linked up with my brothers, now we brighter than the sun in the solar system. Now my brother's spitting what he is, representing with my kids and my weirds on the earth. Every single second on this turf is home birth. I mean, home turf, homie, is a birth of blessing. Hope you rewind that so you can get the lesson.